But the question is, has Jusuf Nurkic's recent play convinced you that he can be a player the Blazers rely on night after night like they did down the stretch last season when everyone had Nurkic fever?
What do you think?
I think that he's getting there. He's 23 years old. Let's not forget that. There's going to be bumps in the road. But he's the X factor on this team. They need him to play well if they're going to have success, specifically in the postseason.
Right.
If they want to win 4 games or they want to win a series, so much of their success will come back on Jusuf Nurkic, and we'll look at that. And when he plays well, Damian Lillard has said this, they're a different team when Jusuf Nurkic is producing. And if he can get you that double-double every night, man, this Blazers team is just a different force. They're a different team out there, and they can cause other squads in the West problems. So can he be that night after night? I think that he's getting there. And I think that the Blazers realize how important he is to the team's success. Going back to Jason Quick, he did a whole piece on how much the Blazers are pushing, the coaching staff is pushing Jusuf Nurkic. They are coaching him hard. Terry Stotts in particular has come out and said how much harder he is pushing Jusuf Nurkic to get the most out of him. That they're trying to push the right buttons with him to get him to react so that they get that angry Nurk that comes out and gives you those big games, you know, when he's mad. And another thing, when we talked to Dame at practice the other day, it was really interesting to hear him talk about the way that he's coaching up Jusuf Nurkic, how he's going over to him on plane flights and he's saying, okay, let's look at every minute that you played. And they're sitting there and going back and forth and having these discussions, you know. And he says, you know, Nurk will try and give him excuses to why something wouldn't work. And Dame says, I'll shoot him down. I'll give it to him just how I feel. Or he'll remember a play that happened in a game and just kind of bank on it. So when it comes back around and they're having these discussions on the plane or at practice, in the film room, whatever, he says, oh yeah, remember this play? Here's what I really want you to do. And I said, well, isn't that tough to have these type of conversations with your teammates? Like, aren't you worried that that would hurt their feelings, their egos, whatever? And he's like, well, what's good about this is that we have a relationship. Nurk and I have this friendship that we've built. We text each other every day. We talk all the time.
Right.
He's like, so when this comes up, it's like family. Like we're saying, hey, this works or this is better. And he says, on the flip side, Nurk will come to me and be like, hey, my man just got a bucket on me. Why am I not getting the ball? Get me the ball in the next play. I want to go at him. He said, so I'll run something to get Nurk involved and get him the bucket. He's like, that's what we want. And so long story short on all this is that he can take them as far as they'll go. You know, his production is going to dictate how far they can get this season.
Right. And
with him playing so well, particularly on this win streak, you're seeing that. The proof is in the pudding on that.
Yeah, I like what the conversation you had with Lillard and what Stotts has been doing with Nurkic. I think the best part of that narrative is that Nurkic is responding to that in the right way. They're not kind of tiptoeing around him.
Right.
They're really being critical of him and giving constructive criticism, and he's responding in the right way. And we didn't know if that was going to be the way Nurkic would respond to that kind of coaching and that kind of, you know, instruction from a teammate. Because when he came here from Denver, the narrative was that he was a malcontent, that he had a bad attitude, but he's showing that, you know, I'm sure he gets down just like any other player, but he will listen to criticism and he'll apply that to his game. And you've seen it this season.
Oh, yeah.
The areas of weakness that frustrated Blazers fans so much earlier in the year, they're going away. You're not seeing that as much. I think that the question about is he someone the Blazers can rely on night in and night out? I don't think that's fair to put that as a measuring stick because there are very few players you can rely on to be, you know, as productive as you need them to be every single night.
That's what makes them stars.
Exactly. Even a player who I think is probably a star like C.J. McCollum, he's not perfect every night. He's had some games this season where he's missed a lot of shots. And so I think that you're getting more productive nights from Nurkic than not. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, last season, when every Blazers fan fell in love with him, he had these amazing games that we remember. Against Denver, he had 33 points and 15 boards. I still remember that Philadelphia 76ers game. I think it was his first game that he played at the Moda Center, and he had 28 points, 20 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 blocks. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Filled up the stat sheet.
But he also had games where, I wrote this down, he had games where he had 2 points and 8 rebounds against the Pelicans. He had 8 points and 4 boards against the Raptors. So I think we're seeing him reach the levels that he did last season. But if he has a game off here and there, that doesn't mean that, Nurk Fever isn't back or whatever, however you want to call it. Nurk is playing really good basketball right now. And I think that if you look at his production, he's only playing 24 minutes a game, which is about 6 minutes less than he played last season. So he's playing quite a few less minutes. And I don't think that's necessarily because of him. I think it's because of Ed Davis and how well he's been playing.
He's been Mr. Reliable.
He's been great. And so that's a good problem to have. And if you look at his numbers since the All-Star break, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block per game in 24 minutes. Put that at 36 minutes a game. He's at 23 points, 16 boards, 3 assists, and 2 blocks per game. That's the kind of production we saw.
That's pretty close to Nurk Fever.
Exactly. So he's playing great basketball right now. Nurk is back. He is what he is. He's not a perfect player. He's not a star, but he's a very productive center who's starting to do the things that the Blazers need him to do. And the biggest frustration with him early in the season was he was missing all these shots at the rim. In October, he shot 43% at the rim. And that's horrible for a center. I mean, there's no reason that should have been happening. But right now, he's shooting 65% in the restricted area. He's shooting 58%, that's since the All-Star break. And really since, the first month and a half of the season, he's been creeping up to hitting about 60% of his shots at the restricted area. So that weakness in his game is becoming a memory. And so Nurkic is playing really good basketball.
Yeah, I think it's a nice combination of coaching and Nurk willing to be coached.
Yeah.
Those flip shots used to drive me crazy watching
They still drive me crazy.
I'm like, dude,
even
you're
when
right
they go
there.
in now.
You're bigger, you're stronger. Go up strong, man.
Yeah.
Like, those shots are there for you. So I know that's part of his game that he's trying to work on, but it's nice to see that it's all paying off and that it's a little bit of confidence now with him as he heads down the stretch. These are big-time games. Your thoughts, Max, on what Nurk is doing right now?
The Twitter narrative has been, I guess, before this win streak, looks like he realized he can dunk now.
Right.
So it's nice to see the occasional slam dunk here and there from Nurkic, in addition to some of those finger rolls.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a lot of the finger rolls and the flip shots now, but I think he's not shooting them from quite as far out as he was before. And I think he's taking it strong. Before, it was almost like he'd avoid contact, and now it does seem like he still likes to get that shot up as quickly as possible before the defender can really challenge it, but it doesn't seem like he's shying away from the contact now, and so that's good.
He's playing big.
Yeah.
So